I'm gonna ask you, because you're obviously, you've heard it if you're not feeling it. You're sort of on the verge of what they call, you know, blowing up, and there's a lot of talk about Zaki right now, a lot of comparisons to you being the next Feist and whatnot. How do you feel about all this?
Yeah, I mean, it feels cool, but I think I have an okay perspective on what's going on right now. I think it's pretty cool. It doesn't feel overwhelming at this point. I know that there's like an energy shift, it seems, when it comes to, you know, being out in the media and so on and so forth. I don't know if blowing up is the word that I would want to use, but it feels like there's exciting things about to happen.
How many years in the making, this record?
That's tough to say because there are some songs that were written like maybe 5 years ago that have been flipped, remixed. This collection was kind of taken from old and new, so that, you know, it's a little bit of a foreshadowing to the full length. It's a little bit of like taking from stuff that's never been released. This is the first official release, so it's exciting.
One of these things have got to give. One of these things have got to give.
You've had the opportunity to tour with South Africa's Toomey and Bedouin Sound Clash and The Roots. What have you taken out of these experiences with these different artists?
It's hard work. It's a full-time job, but like figuring out, you know, how to remain creative when you're on the road, how to remain, you know, how to keep writing, how to keep making music is something, it's hard to do.
Now, speaking of collaborating, you did some work with King Brit. What was that experience like for you?
I got to meet him through another friend. He seemed pretty excited to get something going, and it was very last minute. I know this is really last minute, but is there any way in your busy schedule that we could, you know, do something with this song, Money, that kind of came out of just like a voice layering, almost like a freestyle kind of song. It literally was like a few days before it had to go to print, and I was like, yes, this is perfect. It wasn't, you know, I was nervous to hear how it would come back, and listening to it, I was just like, I heard every layer, I heard like everything that he was doing, and I was just like, wow, this guy's amazing.
So Zaki, let's talk about your upbringing, because you've had a fascinating one. You grew up in South Africa and on the West Coast in Canada. Can you tell us more about that?
Born in Vancouver. My dad's from South Africa originally, and so when I was about 3 years old, I took my first trip to South Africa and stayed with grandparents and family and stuff like that. I love Vancouver Island. I love Cape Town. I love both places. So it's been kind of like a long, I can't decide where to live, so I'm just gonna try to live in both places.
Now, growing up, music was a huge part of your life. It was like a sacred thing in your household. Why was that?
Music was always in the house, and yes, it was sacred. There was, you know, there's all different kinds of music and like chanting kind of stuff that was there growing up. So I guess in that way, it's been an extremely musical household.
When did you start writing?
When I was 6 months old, with my feet.
When you write and express yourself, do you find, because it's such an intense and personal experience, do you ever find it daunting or tiring sometimes to put yourself out there like that?
Sometimes it just feels like it's an emotional thing, or it's just like an energy thing. Like I don't know how to not put lots of energy into singing a song, and I'm not sure what that energy is going to be either. So sometimes I don't expect to be just like laid out at the end of a concert, and I haven't really done that crazy big concerts yet. So I'm kind of like, I have to figure out how to really pay attention to what that energy is.
Wake up, wake up, I'm drifting to see.
So Zaki, what's in store next for you?
Over the next year, I'm going to be working on, you know, there's a full-length to come. There's some finishing touches on that. There's hopefully a lot of collaborations, a lot of travel. Being comfortable, being able to like continue to make music and be happy and healthy doing it.